I'm 85 years old, and one mistake cost me my entire family. I'm telling you this today because there's no one left in my life to hear the truth.
My name is Amira. I'm 85 years old, and I have been sitting in this same chair, in this same room for 3 years now, trying to find the words for something I did a long time ago, something I can't undo. The house is very quiet today. It wasn't always quiet. I was born in a small town, youngest of 5 sisters. My mother used to say I came into the world with my fists already closed, ready to fight for something, she said. She didn't know then what I would spend my whole life fighting for. I married at 22. His name was Khalid, a good man, a patient man, the kind of man who never raised his voice, even when I raised mine. We had 3 children, Sana, Raza, and little Hira, who we called Hiru because she could never sit still long enough to be called by her full name. Those were the years I should remember more gently than I do. But here's what I remember instead. I remember standing in the kitchen in 1987 while Sana tried to show me a drawing she had made at school, a house with a garden and stick figures. She had written our names under each figure. Even the cat had a name. I remember taking the drawing, saying, "Very nice," and putting it on the counter without really looking at it. I was thinking about something else. I was always thinking about something else. I don't remember what. That's the part that stays with me now. Whatever I was so busy thinking about, I cannot remember a single detail of it. But I remember her face when I put that drawing down, just for a second, before she smiled and ran off to find her father. She was 7 years old. I was not a cruel woman. I want to say that. Not because I want forgiveness, just because it's true. I cooked. I cleaned. I stayed up when they were sick. I worked a job for 14 years so Khalid could finish his degree and then build something for us. I sacrificed. I know I sacrificed. And I held that sacrifice very tightly, like it was proof of something, like it was enough. When Raza was 15, he started pulling away, the way boys do, people told me. It's normal, they said. Give him space. So I gave him space. I gave him so much space that by the time he was 23 and moving to another city, I realized I didn't know who he was. Not really. I knew what he ate for breakfast when he was 8. I knew his shoe size. I knew the name of the teacher who failed him in 4th grade and how angry I was about it. But I didn't know what frightened him. I didn't know what made him feel small. I didn't know, and this is the one that still catches in my throat, I didn't know if he felt loved by me, not cared for, loved. There is a difference. I understand that now. Khalid used to say, "Amira, you love them like a duty." I thought that was an insult. I argued with him for 2 days over those words. Now I sit here and I think, he wasn't insulting me. He was trying to save us. Save us. He saw something I had turned my back to, and he handed it to me gently, and I threw it back at him. He passed in 2009, quietly, the way he lived. I held his hand at the end, and he looked at me with those same patient eyes, and I thought, I wasted so much time being right. Pause. Long breath. Sana lives in Canada now. She calls on Eid, sometimes on my birthday if she remembers the date. We are polite with each other, very polite, the kind of polite that sits between 2 people who once hurt each other and never found the words to cross back over. I don't blame her. That's not something I say lightly. I spent many years blaming her for leaving, for the distance, for the politeness. I told myself she was ungrateful, cold, too modern. But sitting here now at 85, with all that time behind me and very little ahead, I know it was me. Not because I didn't love her, but because I never let her feel it freely. There was a morning. Hira must have been about 9. She climbed into bed next to me before I was fully awake, just pressed herself against my side the way small children do, trusting, completely trusting. And I remember my first thought was, I have to get up. There's too much to do. I got up. And I went to the kitchen. She didn't follow, and I didn't go back. I think about that morning more than almost anything else in my life. It cost me nothing to have stayed another 10 minutes, nothing, and yet I treated that moment like it was in my way. She is 44 now. She has her own children. She is kind to me when we speak, but there is a wall, a careful, polite wall, and I built it, brick by brick, every time I chose the kitchen over the bed, every time I chose being right over being close, every time I held my love at arm's length because I thought showing it too freely would make me weak. My mother was like that too, and I swore I wouldn't be. That's the cruelest part of it all, isn't it? The things we promise ourselves when we're young. I watched my mother keep everyone at a distance, keep her emotions locked up like something dangerous. I watched my father fold himself smaller and smaller trying to reach her, and I stood there as a child thinking, I will never do that to my family. And then I did exactly that, not because I wanted to, not because I didn't care, but because no one ever showed me how to do it differently, and I never stopped long enough to learn on my own. I was too busy, too proud, too certain that love was something you proved through action, through meals cooked and school fees paid and sacrifices made, not through sitting still and letting someone know they were seen. Raza and I don't speak anymore. That sentence is the hardest one I've ever had to say out loud. It happened slowly, and then all at once. A misunderstanding that became a silence, that became years. I was too proud to call first. He was too hurt to try again. And somewhere in the middle of all that pride and hurt, we lost each other. He has children I have never met. My grandchildren, walking somewhere in this world, growing, living, and they don't know my face. They might not even know my name. I used to get angry about that. Now I just feel the weight of it. Long pause. If I could go back, and I know I can't, this is not that kind of story, but if I could go back, I wouldn't go back to fix the big things. I'd go back to that morning, when Hira was 9 and pressed herself against my side. Just stay. That's all. I'm not recording this because I think someone needs to hear it. I'm recording this because I need to say it, because it has been sitting in my chest for so long, heavy and wordless, and I am 85 years old and tired of carrying it alone. I loved my children the only way I knew how, but the way I knew how, it wasn't enough. Not for them, not for the people they needed me to be. And I know that now in a way that I cannot explain to you. You can only know it like this, when it's late and the house is quiet, and the people you would give anything to hold are living their lives far away from you, and you understand, finally, clearly, with no room left for argument, that they needed less from your hands and more from your heart, and you gave them your hands. Very long pause. Soft exhale. Sana called last week. We talked for 11 minutes. I counted afterwards. I don't know why. But at the end, just before she hung up, she said, "I love you, Mama." And I said it back. And there was a moment, just a breath, where something old and tired passed between us. Not forgiveness exactly, not yet, but something. I'm holding on to that something. My name is Amira. I'm 85 years old, and I just wanted someone to know.
If something in this stayed with you, maybe a face came to mind, or a morning you remember, I'd be glad if you shared it below. Not because it changes anything, just because sometimes it helps to know you're not the only one carrying something. Take care of yourselves.